Welcome to another edition of College Focus, the program that hopes to tell you a little more than you currently know about the college, its programs, and its people. If you look at our opening credits, you'll see a number of our different campuses shown. One of those campuses is at Thames up in Chatham. And so tonight, from Thames, the principal of the Chatham campus, Mr. Paul Balkwell is our guest. Welcome, Paul.
Good evening, Owen.
How you been?
Good.
Good. One of the things about the Thames campus is its community involvement, its closeness to the community, and Paul here is a great example of that. I want to start right off with that, Paul. What makes that campus so much a part of the community?
Probably the fact that we have to be a part of the community to exist, Owen. But in that respect, we've been very fortunate over the years because the community, I think, does look upon us as their community's college, and we've tried to build on that relationship. We've been able to maintain a very good working relationship with the school boards in that area, and obviously that's to our benefit because they have some facilities that we do not have on a small campus. We also have a very close relationship and a good working relationship with the hospitals and with the businesses and so on in the community.
Now, you're from that area originally.
Actually, I'm from this area. The
From
other
this
part
area.
Of, I was a farm boy, Owen, born and raised in Gosfield South.
Okay, but you were, I guess in Windsor we'd say a county boy.
That's right.
What's the difference? And is that reflected in the Thames campus? Is there a city-county difference?
I don't think there's really a difference.
Put you on the spot here.
I don't think there's really a difference between Essex and Kent County, although we would like to think that perhaps the sun shines a little oftener down there and we don't get quite as violent with storms. But I don't see a great difference.
In the people?
They're pretty much the same.
Pretty much the same.
Demography, I'm sure, is similar to...
Careful with those long words. I'm not worried about our audience, I'm worried about me. Okay, you were, and I've got to let our audience know this, you were at one time mayor of Ridgetown.
Yes, I was.
And now you are the principal of a campus. Any similarities?
I suppose in a way they're at times both very political positions, but the experience as mayor, I'm sure, has helped me at times in the position as principal. I think I'll leave that one.
You'll leave that one alone? You may want to run again? Is that what you're trying to tell me?
Well, one never knows.
Is there a future for mayors in education? Any mayors that are watching, we want them to...
Oh, absolutely.
Absolutely. Okay. Let's get to some of the other things that make that campus unique that you can talk about. We're going to be talking about a particular program later with one of your professors, but just generally, what are some of the unique factors of your campus there at Thames?
Well, Owen, as you know, we're a very small campus. Our full-time enrollment is about 650 students, and with other programs, day programs, on a part-time or a short-term nature, we have about 800 students in the campus each day. Because we're small, I think that the bonding effect for the students to the campus is made very quickly. And the teachers and instructors do tend to get to know all of the students very, very soon after they arrive at the campus. And fortunately for me, I can call many of them by name. And I guess the small school atmosphere is what I would say would be the major benefit.
That is a major benefit. I know that in some of the programs here, the chairman can't call all their students by name, or some of the names they would use aren't exactly the right ones, but we won't go into that. You have what programs there? Now you have business programs,
we have
technology programs?
Business programs similar to the business programs that are run here at South Campus. We have a health science program that is by and large the diploma nursing program, but we also run the registered nursing assistant program. And those programs have been very successful. We also have a unique program in St. Clair College, and that is the developmental social worker program.
Okay, tell us a little bit about that.
The developmental social worker program is a training program for people that work in the social services area. Probably the largest employer of our graduates is the Southwest Regional Center. And there again, we were talking about community relationships. Actually, the Southwest Regional Center is kind of an extension of the campus, because much of the clinical training for the developmental social worker program takes place at the center at Cedar Springs.
There are a number of students from Windsor, actually, who go up for that program.
That's correct.
I know that from talking to people. Tough program to get into?
No, not...
You have spots?
We have spots,
generally?
yes. Yeah.
Great. Now, they work over at the...
We tend not to turn very many away.
Oh, that's good. That's good. St. Clair turns no one away. We have a place for you.
Lest I be criticized for omitting one of the programs too, Owen, then we do run the early childhood education program, as you do here at South Campus, and we're kind of proud of that, because an outgrowth of that particular program was the building of a daycare center right on campus. This again was because of the community relationship we have. Union Gas, a major employer in the city of Chatham, desired to have a workplace daycare center located close to their head office. We had land, they had a need, and the Ministry of Community and Social Services saw that as a good match and decided to come in with some substantial funding, and the daycare center was opened 2 weeks ago.
Oh, congratulations.
It's in operation.
Congratulations. Now, that is in line with things I've been hearing about at the college, from everywhere, from the Industrial Resource Center, from the health science programs, from the other programs, that we must do more bonding, must work closer with industry. You seem to have hit on something here that is a connection. What programs now do you work with Union Gas or any other industry on?
Some of the more unique programs in the energy area. We do some in-service training, helping out Union Gas with some of their instructional purposes. By and large, they do most of it themselves, but we also we're able to place a number of our business students in there for work experience, as we are able to do that in a lot of other businesses in Chatham and Kent County. We also occasionally send some back into Windsor, Essex area.
I always like to ask everybody who comes on the show, I like to ask them if they had their druthers, what would they see down the road for themselves, their campus, their program, their students? What would they like to see, or where do they see things going, whether they like it or not?
We kind of like it the way it is, but we also understand that if you remain static, if you're not progressing and getting better at what you do and showing some modest growth, then you're probably going to go the other way. So we'll try to maintain good quality programs and add to our program mix as there's a need indicated in the community. Now, you're going to be talking with Bill White a little later on, and he is the coordinator of a unique program, and I'll let him explain it to you, but that's the kind of thing that we look at. Not necessarily a duplication of other programs in the system, not necessarily a duplication of programs here at South Campus, but programs that are needed primarily in the community, but also in the region and in the rest of the province.
Just for our viewers to understand the kind of relationship that we have with, let's say, different campuses, is ours similar to other colleges? Do other colleges have campuses that are, a main campus and then secondary, and I don't mean in nature, but smaller campuses in different parts of the province?
Yeah, a number of them do. One readily comes to mind is Georgian College, who has a campus perhaps a little larger in Thames Campus, located in Aurelia. Their main campus, of course, is in Barrie.
Have one in Owen Sound, too.
They also have one in Owen Sound.
So this is a movement in all the colleges to get as close to their communities as possible.
I think so. I think so.
Is it working?
Sure, it's working. But you wouldn't have expected another response.
No, we're working, so it must be working.
Right.
That is right. Well, that was great, and it was good having you on. I think we're ready to move ahead here and take a little break and then hear about this very exciting program that Bill White's going to tell me about.
Thank you
So,
for the opportunity. Owen.
Thank you, Paul, and we'll take a break right now. We'll be back in just a moment.
The House of Sophrosine is a residential treatment center for alcoholic and drug-addicted women. The house is dedicated to providing treatment for any woman struggling to free herself from the bond of alcohol or drug dependencies. With qualified staff, we are able to assist women, their families, and their children by offering group sessions and individual counseling within a supportive and caring environment.
Welcome back. We're back talking about programs at the Thames Campus, and most particularly, we are talking to Mr. Bill White, who is a professor in the Mechanical Engineering Technology Energy Management program. Welcome, Bill.
Thank you very much, Owen, for having me.
Paul gave me a number of cues, a number of leads, Paul Balkwell, when he was on earlier, and I want to start with one of them.
Certainly.
We use the term partnerships. Now, I understand this program has some rather unique partnerships when it comes to industry.
Well, it certainly does, Owen, and this has really come from a desire for very many people to ensure that the appropriate education and training is provided for men and women with regard to energy matters, energy efficiency, and of course the related environmental issues. Now, Union Gas Limited of Chatham and Ontario Hydro and the Ministry of Energy for Ontario have come together with St. Clair College to form this unique partnership for this program to ensure that it is delivered and that enough resources and appropriate resources are available to the students.
Wow. Now, what is it we do?
What do we do? You've read the paper lately, obviously, listened to the radio. Hopefully, diplomacy will win out, but we may be approaching our first true energy war. I think really that's the problem in the Middle East. We must secure enough energy to continue a lifestyle that we have become used to. Secondly, you've seen the cost of gasoline, and that hits home pretty hard. Some might argue that this is a stopgap or a short blip, so to speak, in the energy picture. Perhaps it is, the price of gasoline, but the overall trend is one of a very serious nature. As Canadians, we use more energy per capita than any other country in the world.
Did not know that.
Yes, sir.
I
Now,
would imagine that our neighbors to the south did, but I guess with our weather conditions being pretty much temperate to frigid, all right, that would make sense.
this is quite true to a point, but when you
We're also
must-
wasteful?
Well, we are, and of course that's leading to the purpose behind the program. The program objectives are really three. One is to save energy dollars, increase efficiency, more bang for the buck, so to speak. Another objective, of course, is to protect our environment. And thirdly, we have to look at making sure that our competitive position is one in which we can take on the world as a world
Now,
market.
you've got a program that does all that.
Not quite.
Right.
But we are aiming toward that type of education here at St. Clair College and at Thames Campus. We are a unique program to the province. We're the only one. Other programs have tried in the past at other colleges, and we believe, having examined what they've done, that they did not succeed because they were too narrow in approach. So what we have done is looked at three things that we felt was important. Number one, obviously, an energy management scenario, training to enable the student to go into an existing facility, do an analysis, an audit, suggest or propose ways in which energy can be saved and energy dollars can be reduced, and therefore competition for that firm increased. And in so doing that and looking at the analysis phase, we find that we must also teach another phase. And that phase is taking traditional subjects from mechanical engineering technology, those that we've had here at the South Campus for many years and run very successfully, taken those courses which deal with energy, eliminated those courses which don't, and fold that basic training into the energy management, auditing, analysis, monitoring phase. Now that's 2 things. I said that we did 3.
I was counting.
All right. We found, and we didn't really find, I suppose industry found, that you couldn't communicate technical things to some business people. Not their fault. They were not trained in this area, which is understandable. So what we have decided to do is to fold in, on top of the first 2 things I said, some business courses, which relate to cost accounting, finance, management principles. By doing this, we think that our graduate can then approach the problem from a technical standpoint, a financial standpoint, and then communicate those results in terms of return on investment, dollars and percentage interest, etc., to the financial people who sign the checks.
You've said all that so well, I know you've said it before. Have you had any problems selling this program?
Of course we have. We have had trouble. We think we know why now. And I don't think the public was just quite ready to accept the fact that energy is the root cause of most of our problems.
When our gas gets to $1 a liter, we'll understand, won't we?
Well, it's not just that, Owen, and that's what I'm so pleased to be here tonight to talk about. When we talk about recycling, of course we're trying to eliminate some of the waste that's going to the dump site. But you know yourself, in putting your garbage out on garbage day, that little blue box, although vitally important, and I don't want to suggest that it isn't, is a very small amount of material compared to what you put in the bags next to it. The idea behind recycling is to save the energy that would be required to produce a new product versus using the raw material from the used product. Now, obviously, the cheapest way is to refill, but our society is not in that frame of mind just yet. We were at one time. Remember the pop bottles? You'd look around for them for 2 cents and run them back to the store.
Sure.
There is still deposits on bottles, but we are an aluminum can society, a throwaway society. So we're looking at the next best thing to refill, and that's to recycle. So that's an energy problem. The greenhouse effect is an energy problem. Now, we don't know right now to what degree or to what seriousness this problem puts out to us. We do know the effects of acid rain. We know the causes. We know about holes in the ozone layer. Again, there are skeptics, pros and cons as to how serious this is, but we know there's a problem. We know that having to rely on foreign sources of oil is a political problem. There are economic problems involved, and it all comes down to an energy problem.
I understand you have brought a tape that we can take a look at that also helps put this in perspective.
Yes, it does, Owen. Thank you.
Is now a good time to look at that?
Well,
or?
I think it is, and just let me preface by saying the tape was produced by the American Society of Heating, Refrigerating, and Air Conditioning Engineers. This is another group supporting St. Clair College and Thames Campus and the energy management program to ensure that the delivery continues. What I talked about, when I talked about the 3 things that we did, I talked about the business things, I talked about the energy audit things, and I talked about those other root things that a student learns how to do. Now, of course, this is important in their careers because there's a direct career skills associated with that one item. And the tape shows quite clearly, or gives a flavor to the audience of what we're talking about.
About 4.5 minutes, 5 minutes?
About that, yes.
Let's take a look.
Sure.
From the very beginning, People have always put a measure to nature. Observing its movement and rhythms. Inquiring into nature's laws. Exploring nature's principles and basic structures. And testing its primal power. Always searching for the possibilities of bending nature's energy to serve man's purpose, to make this world a more secure and hospitable place. And over the years, the accumulated knowledge of our scientists has been matched by the know-how of our engineers. Engineers are the builders, the designers, the doers, and the dreamers. Their monuments have left an indelible mark on human destiny. And their achievements met our basic needs and fulfilled our highest aspirations. Engineers looked to the energies in nature and found opportunities to power our own human environments. The technologies of ASHRAE, the arts and sciences of heating and ventilation, air conditioning and refrigeration, have served people by controlling the atmosphere in man-made spaces. ASHRAE technology is a basic part of our lifestyles, from the variety of foods we eat to the richness of the buildings and homes where we live and work and play. It's engineering for comfort, for commerce, for industry and productivity, for energy efficiency, and for survival. Heating, ventilation, air conditioning, and refrigeration are an engineering adventure, an exploration that has taken us from the ocean's depths to the surface of the moon. And most of all, it's a technology that continually challenges our engineering skill and vision with excitement, with opportunity, and with risk. For every measure that was taken, for every question that was answered, one more problem is posed, and another challenge is created. But the challenges we face are of our own making, and the solutions will be of our own design. Because without our dreaming, our building, and our engineering, the world as we know it would simply not exist. The American Society of Heating, Refrigerating, and Air Conditioning Engineers. We're meeting the challenges of technology and human destiny.
That was a good tape. There was a message there about survival. The world might not survive. I've got to ask you the obvious question. Do your students buy that when they walk in the door? Are you able to sell that to them?
I don't think they will buy that message when they walk in the door. But I think throughout the 3 years of the program, the full 6 semesters, I think they learn what it really means. And they then believe when they leave.
That we're possibly heading into trouble.
Well, we are heading into trouble, Owen. It won't be tomorrow. It probably won't be in our lifetime, perhaps even our children's lifetime. But if I could paraphrase, now I've forgotten who the person was, and I'm sorry,
Bertrand Russell.
Bertrand Russell, thank you. How did you know that?
We talked about that earlier. I don't want
right.
anyone to think we scripted this, but
What he
how would you
said-
like to paraphrase Bertrand Russell?
I would love to,
Okay,
Owen.
let's
Thank
go
you
with
very
Bertrand
much.
Russell here.
He said that it's about time we started caring about a world we will never see. And I think that captures the
that
thought.
does. 6 semesters,
Yes,
long
sir.
time. What's in there?
Well, everything from physics and chemistry and mathematics through thermodynamics and fluid mechanics, the classical studies, and then of course the applied studies. Then the energy management studies and the business studies, as I have.
How many graduating classes have you had?
We've had 4 graduating classes to date.
They've been successful?
Very successful, 100% placement. About half the class is placed prior to graduation. They usually have their jobs before they leave the Thames Campus.
Are they getting to do the things you train them for, you educate them for?
Well, yes, they are, and that's that 3-pronged approach that I mentioned to you earlier in the interview, is that if they aren't doing energy management at a particular time, they're involved in heating, ventilating, and air conditioning design, the type of work shown on the tape, or involved in other technology-related tasks.
Do any come in and at some point, I know a few do for every program, but give you a good reason as to why they're not going to continue? And I don't mean just that the curriculum is too tough, but maybe they just decide they don't want to save the world?
We had one of those.
That's not bad.
No, we were quite pleased about that.
Okay, and the others, what are some of the jobs they're in? You mentioned the design. And
Well,
whatever.
they're all over the place. One of our graduates is in Cincinnati, and he was just made, and I'm quite proud of this, he was just made the regional sales director for Northeastern United States for the Unifin division of Keep Right Corporation.
And
They make heat transfer equipment.
oh, okay.
We have a chap in Toronto who's dealing in alternative energy resources. We have graduates working in the government sector, in the public sector. We have them working for consulting engineers and really anywhere where energy is consumed.
I ask everyone on the show, what do you see for the future? What would you like? If you had your
Wow.
wish list.
Of course, if I
You
had
have
my...
20 seconds.
Okay, a full class next September 91,
How about
so
a
that
full...
we can begin this training.
All right. Thank you very much. I admire anyone who is trying to keep the future from at least our children and their children. Thanks a
Owen,
lot,
for
Bill.
having me.
Good night. Thank you. Tune in again next week.